Hello my motor enthusiasts. What a Grand Prix we had in the United States, didn't we? You're tuned into F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Buongiorno, Enzo Watts. It was quite a spectacle. Who took the checkered flag this time?
It was a thrilling race, indeed. Max Verstappen emerged victorious after an intense battle, but not without its hitches.
Really? What sort of hitches?
Well, notably, he was struggling with the brakes throughout the race. It was more of a challenge than usual, but he pushed through.
And our local lad, Lewis Hamilton, how did he fare?
Hamilton finished second, but certainly not without a fight. He praised Verstappen and his team for their dominance, but he's not giving up the chase.
And the young gun, Lando Norris.
Norris secured the third position. He acknowledged that he couldn't hold on to the lead, but he was happy with his performance, tyre issues notwithstanding.
And how was the circuit of the Americas?
The COTA. Verstappen, Hamilton, and Norris all agreed that the track needs a good resurfacing. It seems it's more suitable for rally cars, rather than sleek F1 beasts.
Blimey, sounds like we've got a proper race rundown to discuss today.
Indeed, we do, William. Stay tuned, folks, as we dive into the details of this exhilarating Grand Prix. Hello again, motor enthusiasts. I'm Enzo, your host, and with me is our esteemed commentator William.
Pleasure to be here, Enzo.
We're here daily on F1 Motor Fever podcast, discussing all things Formula One. And trust us, there's always plenty to talk about. If you're enjoying our conversation and want to be part of the ride, make sure you subscribe to our channel.
Absolutely, every subscription, comment, and share helps to keep us on the airwaves. Plus, you won't want to miss a single episode. We've got hot takes, in-depth analysis, and plenty of banter.
You heard him, folks. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our daily episodes.
And share with your friends and family, too. The more the merrier, that's what I always say.
Right you are, William. Now, for a teaser. I've been digging into the press conference after the United States Grand Prix. There's some choice words from Verstappen, Hamilton, and Norris that are bound to shake things up. You won't believe what's coming your way.
I'm on the edge of my seat, Enzo.
As you should be, William. This news is relevant because it reflects the struggles faced by the racers and their determination to overcome them. It's these intimate details that make Formula One the thrilling sport it is. So, buckle up, folks. We're going full throttle. So, we've heard from the top three drivers, each with their own struggles and triumphs in the United States Grand Prix. What do you make of it all?
Well, what stands out to me is the determination and resilience of these drivers. Verstappen's brake issues and Norris's tyre troubles didn't deter them from giving their best on the track.
And Hamilton's positive attitude, despite not winning, is something to be admired, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's a seasoned racer and understands that every race is part of a larger journey. His praise for the victorious team speaks volumes about his sportsmanship.
Right you are. These thoroughbreds of the racing world show us that the spirit of the competition is just as important as the results.
Couldn't agree more. Speaking of results, Verstappen's 50th Grand Prix win is worth mentioning. That's a notable achievement.
Indeed it is. A milestone he shares with only a select few, including Lewis Hamilton himself. Quite an elite club, isn't it?
It certainly is. The world of Formula One is constantly evolving, but some things, like the will to win and the thrill of the race, remain timeless.
Hearing from Hamilton, there's a striking amount of humility and grace in handling defeat. His admiration for the States is also quite evident.
Absolutely. His ability to bounce back from past mistakes and setbacks is truly admirable. A testament to his mental strength.
Indeed. And let's not overlook Norris's performance. Though he couldn't hold on to the lead, his aggressive defending against Lewis at turn 1 was a sight to behold.
That it was. Norris himself acknowledged the pace in the first 10 laps, but it seems tyre degradation was a significant issue.
Yes, it's always a balancing act, isn't it? On the one hand, you want to maintain the lead, but on the other, you have to manage your tyres to last the race.
And that's the beauty of this sport, isn't it? The blend of strategy, skill, and a little bit of luck.
Well put. It's the combination of all these elements that makes each Grand Prix an exciting spectacle. Each race is a unique narrative of its own, with a blend of victories, disappointments, and lessons learned. Verstappen's insights into the race are quite revealing, aren't they? Even though he won, he still faced significant challenges, particularly with the brakes and tires.
That's right, and it's a reminder that there's so much more to a race than simply who crosses the finish line first. The technical aspects, the strategy, the constant adjustments, all of these are crucial elements of any Grand Prix.
A good reminder indeed. And surprisingly, despite these challenges, he still managed to come out on top.
Yes, and it's worth mentioning that the start of the race was mentioned as the point of the brake problems. Can you imagine the concentration and adaptability needed to race under such circumstances?
Incredible, isn't it? Racing is as much about managing and overcoming unexpected issues as it is about speed and skill.
Absolutely. It's a testament to Verstappen's skill and the Red Bull team's strategy that they were able to navigate these issues and secure another win.
And our hats off to them, indeed. The world of Formula One never ceases to amaze and inspire. We're hearing from Hamilton that this race was a significant turnaround for him. Remarkable resilience, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes. His description of the last race as empty-handed, and then this resurgence is a classic case of sporting spirit.
Absolutely. His honesty about the struggle with starts and pit stops during the race also demonstrates a constructive mindset.
True, it's all about taking the positives and learning from the challenges. The fact that he was only 2 seconds behind Verstappen, despite the difficulties, speaks volumes.
Well said. Hamilton's ability to shine in the face of adversity is nothing short of inspiring.
And let's not forget Verstappen's milestone of 50 wins, just one short of Alain Prost. Quite a remarkable achievement.
Absolutely, it's a testament to his skill and consistency. He's really making his mark in the world of Formula One.
And yet, he humbly considers those to be rookie numbers. That's the drive to achieve more for you.
Hamilton's positive outlook is simply contagious, isn't it? He's excited about the upcoming races and believes that with the right strategy and execution, they could be right up there.
Absolutely. He's shown himself to be a fighter, always looking forward to better performances. His recount of the battle with Norris was quite fascinating.
Indeed. He seems to have relished every bit of it and was happy with his performance. It's this level of sportsmanship that makes the sport so captivating.
And speaking of Norris, he shares his own perspective of the battle. He admits that they didn't quite have the pace and tyre management compared to Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yet, he still managed to put up a good fight. Recognizing and acknowledging their current weakness is the first step towards improvement.
Couldn't agree more. Norris has been great throughout. The stellar start, the battles, controlling the early part of the race, all of it showcases his potential.
Yes, and the fantastic work by his pit crew cannot be overlooked. A great day indeed for their team. Norris opens up here about the challenges of leading a race, the delicate balance between overpushing and underpushing.
Indeed. It's an interesting insight into the mindset of a driver in the lead. Norris mentions how quickly Hamilton caught up despite a couple of laps of battery recovery. How significant is this aspect, battery management, in such high-octane races?
It's incredibly significant. The energy recovery systems play a critical role. They allow drivers to store energy and then deploy it for a power boost, which can be a game-changer in key moments.
Speaking of game changers, Norris mentions about new tyres masking their issues during qualifying. Could you elaborate a bit on how new tyres can provide such an advantage?
Certainly. A new set of tyres provides optimal grip, which can hide deficiencies in slow-speed corners. But as the tyres wear out, that advantage diminishes, and the inherent issues with the car's performance become more apparent.
Turning our attention to the Constructors' Championship, McLaren's overtaking of Aston Martin for 4th place and the looming gap of 88 points to Ferrari. How does this shift the dynamics?
It certainly spices things up. McLaren seems to be in a good rhythm, and they'll be looking to maintain that momentum. The gap to Ferrari, though significant, isn't insurmountable. We could see some interesting developments in the upcoming races.
Norris also shares some hard-hitting thoughts on Aston Martin's performance, stating that they've made the car slower with every upgrade. How unusual is this in the world of Formula One?
It does happen occasionally, but it's indeed unusual. Upgrades are meant to enhance performance, but sometimes they don't deliver the expected results. It's a tough situation for any team to be in, and it's clear that Aston Martin has some serious challenges to address. It appears that Verstappen had some issues with the brakes. He mentions that he couldn't feel them and was easily locking up the fronts and rears.
That sounds like a serious issue, especially for a driver like Verstappen who prides himself on his braking. It's interesting he points out how it was affecting his tyre management as well.
Yes, good brake balance can play a significant role in tyre management. Despite these issues, Verstappen notes that they still won the race, which just goes to show the level of adaptability and skill these drivers possess.
Definitely. Now on to Hamilton. He seems to be quite positive about Mercedes' future direction. He even states that this is the most hopeful he's felt this year. What do you think could be the factors behind this optimism?
I think it's a combination of things. Hamilton notes that they've had moments where they've been competitive, such as Brazil last year. He refers to improvements in their development towards the end of the year as well.
He also mentions his close contact with the head of Aero and the team back at the factory. Would this interaction play a role in his positive outlook?
Possibly. Such interactions can certainly provide a driver with more insight into the team's strategy and developments. And Hamilton's excitement certainly seems to suggest that he feels they're on the right track. Hamilton delves into the potential differences in race outcome had the strategy been tweaked. He's not certain, but theorizes that if Mercedes had pitted when he was behind Norris by 1.8 seconds, they could have leveraged the 2-second undercut.
That's an interesting point. The timing of pit stops is such a critical aspect of race strategy. A well-timed stop can provide a significant advantage.
Absolutely. Hamilton believes they lost too much time by extending. He mentions that when Verstappen pitted, he wasn't even close, but when Verstappen came out, he was 6 seconds ahead, which shows the importance of timing in these decisions.
Hamilton also mentions the tyre performance dropping off a cliff. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, when Hamilton refers to tyres dropping off a cliff, he's talking about a sharp decrease in tyre performance. This can be due to tyre wear or overheating. When this happens, lap times can start to increase dramatically, which seems to be what Hamilton experienced.
Verstappen certainly got a chuckle with his comment about the Circuit of the Americas, or COTA, being better suited to a rally car due to its bumpy surface.
There's something a bit tongue-in-cheek about that comment, but it does highlight an important point. The condition of the track surface can significantly impact the performance of these finely tuned machines. If it's too bumpy, it can disrupt the car's balance and make it harder for drivers to maintain optimal control. Verstappen's comment suggests that he believes the surface at COTA needs to be redone. Quite a statement to make, and it'll be interesting to see if any changes are made before next year's race.
It's fascinating to hear the drivers discuss the track conditions and how they impact the races. I remember, when I was a young lad, there was a go-karting track down the road from where I lived. Now, it was a far cry from a Formula One circuit, but it had its own set of challenges. There was a particularly sharp bend that was notorious among us kids.
Oh, why was that?
Well, this bend had a hump right at the apex. If you came in too fast, your go-kart would leap off the ground, and you'd lose all control. It was thrilling, but it taught us the importance of track conditions and handling.
A valuable lesson for sure. And today, as we can hear from Hamilton, Verstappen, and Norris, track conditions are still a vital aspect of racing, even at the highest level of motorsport.
Indeed. They talk about the bumps adding character but being too numerous, the challenges of striking a balance between maintaining some of that character but ensuring that the track is safe and suitable for Formula One cars. Much like that hump in the go-kart track of my youth, it's a fine line to tread.
Norris believes that McLaren's best chances have passed for this season. Even though they've made strides, he feels that the slow-speed circuits won't favor their setup. He does hint at some optimism for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, stating that they would like to finish on a high note.
So, why does the speed of the circuit matter? Isn't it just about who can drive the fastest?
Oh, you're quite the card, aren't you? It's not just about who can drive the fastest, silly. The car's performance factors in as well. Certain cars perform better on high-speed circuits, while others are built for more technical, slow-speed tracks.
Well, I thought it might be a good thing to ask for our listeners who are new to Formula One.
If we keep going at this rate, we won't have any listeners left. They'll switch off thinking they've tuned into the beginner's guide to Formula One.
Hey, it's not such a daft question. There could be listeners who are getting into the sport for the first time, and they might find it interesting, even if it seems straightforward to us.
Alright, fair enough. We'll continue with the beginner's guide then. As we were saying, Norris has some reservations about the upcoming tracks, but he's not ruling out anything yet. As for Verstappen, he's asked about the rules and how less wind tunnel time for his team might be affecting their performance. It's quite telling that Verstappen acknowledges Mercedes' approach to understanding their car and how they're trying to optimize their package, while also working on the car for next year. The limitation on wind tunnel time for leading teams is a fascinating aspect of the sport, isn't it?
Indeed. It's an interesting rule, designed to level the playing field, so to speak. Now, Verstappen seems to accept it as a good thing for the sport, which is quite sportsmanlike of him.
True. And let's not forget Hamilton's comments here. He seems to be gaining confidence with the car, making strides despite some fundamental issues that won't be resolved until next year.
That's right. It's like he's saying, even a small upgrade can make a significant difference in terms of confidence. And as we know, confidence can play a big part in a driver's performance.
Absolutely. The mental aspect of the sport is just as crucial as the physical one. This is shaping up to be quite an interesting season finale, isn't it? William, what's the chatter on the internet about this latest development?
Let me have a look here. A post from Jovan Milik says, quote, Hamilton disqualified from US Grand Prix, unquote.
Oh, I can already predict the uproar.
You're not wrong. Pit Lane Collective comments, quote, imagine the chaos if he'd won, unquote. And Toffee Coffee responds with, quote, probably for the best he didn't, the amount of diagrams and emails Toto would have to send would have been too damn high, unquote.
They're not half wrong. Anything more there?
Yes, Frankie Four Fingers adds, quote, not to mention the inevitable worldwide shortage of headphones, unquote. And Zaxafuz responds with a laugh, quote, this is what Lewis means every time he thanks the people back at the factory, unquote.
I'm sure the headphone manufacturers would have been on cloud nine with that increased demand.
Then there's an interesting comment from Durango, quote, imagine what would have happened if it wasn't Charles and Lewis, it was Max and Lewis which made Lando the race winner. Not sure how he'd feel about getting his first win due to a series of disqualifications. Would be a pretty sucky way to get it, unquote.
That's true. Winning by default isn't the sweetest victory, is it?
Seems like the internet has a lot to say on this. Shall we discuss it further?
Well, that wraps up another episode of F1 Motor Fever podcast. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us as we dissected the latest happenings from the world of Formula One. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's discussion, share our channel with your fellow Formula One enthusiasts, be it on social media or in conversation over a cup of tea.
Absolutely. Remember to drop your thoughts in the comments section, we'd love to hear from you. And who knows, your comment might just end up being featured in one of our episodes. We're on air every day, providing you with the freshest insights and analysis from the paddock.
Indeed. We've got an exciting lineup of topics coming your way, but I'll keep you in suspense for now. Until then, remember, no matter what's happening on the track, you can always count on us to break it down for you.
Absolutely. And if you're ever having withdrawal symptoms between races, just remember F1 Motor Fever podcast is here to fill the gap. Enzo and William, so, until next time, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road, our channel's content is pure gold.